Chapter 4 Week 4 The Benefits of Offic Organization. Introducing Organizational Documents. So, how do I know you are not just pulling our chain? How do we know you are serious?
Serious? How could we be otherwise?
You hadn't mentioned any documents, so.
Incorporation has its advantages. When one is in business with one or more people, for the best interest of seniority, the body would prefer to incorporate sooner rather than later. Sometimes the smaller the body is, the more manageable the business will be, but also the more limited the income will be. And as with the bell curve from 2 to 2,000 paying customers, the goal is to approach as many in association as possible, so productivity may be maximized and availability extinguished. It is not necessary to incorporate with others without an attorney, nor would I recommend it in all instances, because one becomes subject to the movements of the body, but times are changing. A corporation is usually more expensive to operate than a sole proprietor or a partnership on the outside, but the price tag for a business luncheon with 3 associates may be less expensive than one with 30, because retail and wholesale are such, so a profit can be made in the facilitation. The monies accumulated defines the power the congregation has over the individual and the larger over the smaller. At the heart of the American entrepreneurial spirit, what else would we find but the will of the majority, as 51% of the vote determines the movement bodies take. Shareholders determine how funds are distributed in their vote. The percentage being in the majority affords those in it control of the collective effort and the ability to say we. These votes to determine the movement of the body are to happen at regularly scheduled meetings of the board of directors or annual stockholders meetings. There is no way around keeping a record of where all this money the body is generating, from retail to dues and even to fish plates on Fridays. It doesn't matter how much money is involved, because there are those who live and die off mathematical accuracy. And yet there are other smaller, less closely held corporations that operate less formally, but some type of records must be kept or there is no point in organization. Be mindful of officers' liabilities for actions taken by them or the body in the business name. This cooperation can be categorized as either a C corporation or S corporation. With the former, income is taxed separately from shareholders, and the latter distributes funds to shareholders according to their percentage where they are taxed for that income. The responsibility of that distribution falls on the officers. Everybody thinks they are right when they count their money wrong, but before there can ever be a we, him, her, or even I, must form the position in our heads and present it to another and another until one finally agrees to improve the world through flour distribution. Once Rome was just a whisper amongst a few, and it grew to perhaps one of the most influential empires in the world. One person's ideas are only that, and they could probably live well as a sole proprietor, but magnitude comes with more than one person agreeing that a comedian is funny or a chef has a great culinary presentation. Thinking of magnitude, we must consider the organizing documents that will protect our idea from another. Even though we feel our idea is original, anyone who finds out about the Red Carnation Club can say that they are due its proceeds without our possessing those documents. Though there are many more, these are perhaps most influential and binding. They are as follows, not necessarily in any particular order, but more so the first that come to mind. 1. File federal business taxes on income from the previous year on a Schedule C under the organization's name, if only $1. Every year we file our income taxes as proof of our economic existence. We're not claiming that our business exists, it doesn't. As long as we don't claim the Red Carnation Club, it will never exist, and we can blame no one but ourselves. Sure, others can provide fresh flour like us, but they won't be members of the Red Carnation Club unless they fall under our administration. 2. Select the most advantageous local municipality from which to ground our business and apply for a business license. Sure, we can report after the fact that we made $1 or however much we made the previous year, but that's in the past. What is current is our license, which gives us the authority to collect taxes and the comfort and security of being in compliance with our local municipalities. We may not be the only Red Carnation Club in world, but we will certainly be the only one in the city, unless another already does business under that name, where we will find out when we apply. 3. Register our business with the Department of Revenue for whichever state the local municipality we had chosen resides. Every state has a Department of Revenue. It is our responsibility to pay a tax. This department collects it. 4. Apply for an employer identification number, EIN, with the Internal Revenue Service, IRS, so that those we pay who work for our cause will have an accurate measure of their earnings, and we can account for monies spent. This EIN number is like a social security number for the body, as they act as one for the same cause and purpose. This body that we have created is living and breathing. 5. Begin the long and arduous task of recording the proceedings of the body with the record keeper. Documenting the proceedings, the record keeper and the treasurer note the movement of the body and the economic traffic of the body's liquid assets, respectively. Receiving and distributing funds as appropriate, the treasurer reports to the record keeper, because it is not about how much, but when so. 6. Last but not least, promotional items become a means by which we may document our body of like-minded individuals. These unify the body in pride for the organization, where our logo is what we stand behind.
Are your organizing documents in order?
Yes, they are. Our record keeper has them.